When you love someone who is avoidant, it often feels as though you've been cast in a play you never auditioned for, a role written from their own fears, rehearsed from ancient scripts, and projected onto you with such conviction that you begin to wonder if perhaps it really is you after all. In How to Escape Avoidant Projections in Love, we'll journey through the winding corridors of these projections, the subtle, the overt, the heartbreakingly familiar. And if you'll indulge me, I'll tell you exactly how to stop mistaking their shadow for your reflection. Now, let me spin you a story, as old as time. Picture, if you will, a man named Henry. Henry is charming, successful, keeps his socks in order, and his heart under lock and key. But fall in love with Henry, and soon enough you may hear this. "You're trying to control me," he'll say, as you suggest dinner at 8. Or perhaps, "You're too emotional," as you wonder why he hasn't called in 3 days. You see, Henry's not cruel. Oh no, he's frightened, and in his fear he hands you the hot potato, the burning shame, the ancient wound, and declares, "Here, it's yours now, not mine." This is projection. Projection is the mind's way of unburdening itself of the unbearable. The avoidant partner, you must understand, isn't malicious. They are terrified. Terrified that if you peer too long, too closely into the parts of them they cannot bear, you will see the mess they've hidden. And so, like a magician with an old trick, they flip the script. You become the villain, the critic, the threat. But here's where the true danger lies. If you aren't careful, you will start believing them. Their wounds will slip quietly over your shoulders, like an ill-fitting coat, and soon you'll look in the mirror and think, "Was this always me?" Let's untangle this, shall we? First, we must recognize projection in its many guises. There are 3 particularly theatrical performances you should look for in the avoidant repertoire. Act 1. Villainizing. The classic. You ask a question, you state a need, and suddenly you're the tyrant. "You're trying to change me," they say. "You're suffocating me." When, in truth, you merely wondered if they could pick up milk on the way home. But this is the avoidance defense. Cast you as the villain before you can cast them as vulnerable. To them, intimacy feels like a trap, so better to accuse you of building cages than admit they're standing in the open doorway, afraid to step closer. Act 2. Catastrophizing. Now, this is where the drama unfolds. A minor disagreement, say, forgetting to text back promptly, becomes evidence of the impending apocalypse. "This isn't going to work," they'll sigh. "Maybe we're just too different." You see, avoidants often grew up bracing for disaster, and if life has taught them anything, it's that good things rarely last. So they prepare for the end long before you've even reached the middle. They pull away, not because you've failed, but because they expect everything to. Act 3. Emotional reasoning. Here we reach the grand finale. An avoidant feels anxious. You must be untrustworthy. They feel trapped. You must be plotting against them. Their feelings become facts, and facts become your fault. It's as though they're wearing fogged-up glasses, and no matter how brightly you shine, they can only see the weathered fears pressed against the lenses. But here's the twist in this tale, the part no one tells you. It's not your job to hold their projections. You do not have to play the villain in their play, nor the caretaker, nor the savior, and certainly not the sponge for their disowned shame. So, how do we escape this tangled web of avoidant projections in love? Well, first, we must remember what the great poets knew. Clarity is kindness. Not just kindness to them, but kindness to yourself. When the projections come, and they will, you must stand gently, firmly, and say, "No, that's not mine to carry." And here, if you're willing, is a little wisdom I've gathered from years observing this dance. Step 1. Observe without absorbing. When an avoidant partner projects, don't argue, don't defend, don't rush to fix their fear. Instead, become the calm observer. Picture yourself sitting in the audience of their play, watching the performance unfold. Ah, there it is again, you think. The villainizing, the catastrophizing, the emotional reasoning. See it, name it, but don't step onto the stage. Step 2. Name the behavior, not the person. Instead of saying, "You always blame me," try, "It sounds like you're feeling worried that I'm controlling you, but I'm simply asking for us to make a plan." You draw a boundary between who they are and what they're projecting. It's like telling the mirror, "I see the reflection, but I know the light source." Step 3. Choose compassion, without collusion. Avoidants are, at their core, deeply fragile. Imagine a turtle poking its head from its shell, only to find the world cold and unfamiliar. Be kind to that fragility, but do not enable it. Do not shrink yourself to soothe their discomfort. Love them by inviting them into the truth. I'm not here to trap you. I'm here to walk beside you, but you have to meet me halfway. Now, this is no small feat. It takes the patience of a saint, the strategy of a chess master, and at times the humor of a jester. But my word, the rewards. For if you can hold steady, if you can love without absorbing, soothe without shrinking, you create the rarest thing of all for an avoidant: safety without sacrifice. You become the person with whom they can finally take off the armor, if they are willing. And if they are not, well then, my dear, you must ask yourself the question no one can answer but you. Is this a role I want to keep playing? Because here's the truth I leave you with. Love does not require you to be anyone's scapegoat. You deserve to be seen as you are, not as they fear you to be. And the only person who can protect that truth is you. So beware the mirror. But more than that, be wary of forgetting who you are beneath someone else's reflection. Hold fast to yourself. Love bravely. And when the projections come, as they surely will, smile softly. You already know the script, and this time you don't have to play along. Thank you for walking this road with me today. If this struck a chord, well, there's much more to explore, and I, for one, would be delighted to continue the conversation.
If you believe this video might help someone dear to you, share it with them. A small gesture on your part could mean the world to a friend in need.